Hi everyone, and welcome to another video. So in my last video I have done the poly paint of my character Mr. Incredible, and just for fun I've imported the hair. I've exported it from Maya in OBJ format, and I've imported the hair in the scene just to have a preview how the character is going to look, and I am pretty happy with the result so far. So again, this is just a preview. I'm gonna do the final render using a Octane render, but so far so good. I'm pretty happy with the current result. So in this video I'm gonna take care of the dress. So but before I start making the dress, I take the chance to show you guys how to make a cotton-like fabric texture. So let me just go up and here. So like I showed you in the previous video, if I zoom, you can see that his suit is covered in has this kind of like fabric texture all over the place, right? You can see here. So there are a couple of ways that you can create this texture. There's an easy way, and there's a more long and complicated ways. And just to show you in this video, I'm gonna go through the more complicated ways, and just to show you how I would do, and at the end of the video also I will show what would be a more easy way to get this kind of texture. So I'm going to create the pattern, this kind of a neat pattern in Maya, and so I'll see you there. Alright, I'm in Maya. So first off, I'm gonna create the base that I'm going to extrude along my neat pattern. So if I bring up Google and I search for cotton close-up, the first image that I found is this one, and as you can see, this is the kind of pattern that we want to create. So I want to have something like this, and I don't really care about this let's see, this hair, let's say this going on all over the place. I'm gonna, because his suit, he's supposed to be like a super suit or something like that, so I'm just gonna make them more regular, but pretty much this is the type of pattern that I want to create. So back in Maya, so let's start it. So I'm gonna go and create a cylinder like that. Now from my modeling tool, I'm gonna select the top faces and Control Shift I to invert and delete. So I'm gonna have only the top faces like that. Now I'm gonna go to the top view, and I'm gonna Control D, duplicate this object, and I'm gonna drag it about here. Shift select this, Control D, and I'm gonna duplicate it and move it about there, something like that. Now I'm gonna select these four guys. I'm gonna go Mesh, Combine, delete History, Fringe Transformation, and I'm gonna center the pivot. Okay, let's go back. Actually, yeah, let's go back 1 second to perspective view. If I want to move this to the center, I'm gonna hold X, and I'm gonna just drag X, basically activate, as you can see up here, holding X will temporarily activate the grid, the snap to grid. So now it snapped the pivot. Since the pivot is in the middle of the object, it snapped the whole object in center, in the 0 of the scene. Now let's go back to our top view, and what I want to create, it's a pattern, kind of a I want to create kind of a pattern that goes around and up to create like a knot. So to do that, I'm going to go to create and curve tools, and I'm going to select a CV curve tool, and I'm going to start clicking. So again, holding X, if I click, even if I'm not nearby the vertices of the grid, Maya will snap the point there. So I'm starting, just adding a bunch of vertices there. Actually, before doing that, let me I'm gonna delete this. I'm gonna make sure that my curve tool, has some weird parameter that I used last time, so I'm gonna reset. Okay, that's what I want. Now again, holding X, click and on in here, and yeah, that's what I wanted to do. And I'm gonna use basically the grid as a guide for my my curve, like so. Okay, so this is the first pattern that I created, and now what I want to do, if I right click, I can click on the control vertices and I can select them, and I can start adjusting the shape a little bit, but I will do that more in depth later. So for now, next step, I'm gonna grab this guy, and basically I want to extrude it along this spline. So first of all, it's quite big, so let's go to perspective so we know what's going on, and let's scale it down. Maybe, let's see, maybe something like this. I don't know exactly the scale, but let's find out. And then I'm gonna rotate it about minus 90 degrees. Okay, and let's do like a 0.2 scale. And now I'm gonna delete the history and freeze the transformation, so all the transformations here are reset. And I'm going to, since the first point of my spline starts from this point of the grid, I'm gonna hold X and move my object on the same point like that. So now what I want to do, I'm gonna select my object, I'm gonna go back to my modeling tool and select faces. I'm gonna select all my faces, and then I'm gonna hold Control and click the curve here in the outliner. So with this selected, I'm gonna go to Edit Mesh and click on Extrude. Now this happens. So Maya have extruded my mesh along this shape, but I don't have any subdivision, so it can only see the start and the end. So in here, the first thing I want to do is to add subdivision. So let's say maybe 100. Okay, and also I want to add a bit of twist. So if I click on this little icon here, it opens up the options. I scroll down, I can see twist. I can activate it, and now I have a twist there. And I can try and manually doing a twist, but it only goes The slider only goes to 180, but it's not enough. So I'm gonna click and say, I don't know, oops, 1000 maybe, something like that, or 500, 800, 700, something like that. I want just a little bit of twist going on in here. Now, here's the interesting thing. So this object is still active. So what that means, if I go here and I click on X-ray with my curve selected, if I right click and go on control vertices and select these, for example, if I move them around, you can see that it's deforming my shape. And there's also another cool thing that I can do. I'm gonna uncheck X-ray. I can just select my object and move it to the side like this, and this will still work. So if I go on control vertices and move this, you can see I can still I'm able to edit the object. So that's pretty neat. So now what I want to do, let me first save this scene. I'm going to go and save as. I'm going to go to Maya and call this cotton pattern. Okay. And what I want to do, so now this is flat. Okay. What I want to do, I want to make it like it's a kind of an arch shape going on. So I'm gonna, let's see what I can do. I'm gonna select this guy, bring it up a little bit, then oops, no, then select these guys and move it up like that, and maybe select this guy as well. Let's see, I don't know exactly what this has to look, but I'm trying to improvise a little bit. I kind of want to like this arc shape, like so. Maybe I can bring this guy down a little bit more, something like that maybe, yeah. And what I can do, I'm gonna click on this guy. Right, these are overlapping points. I want these two guys to be a little bit lower, kind of like that. And you will see why in a minute, but something like this. Let's try this out. Let's see, maybe I'm gonna grab this point and all this point. Maybe I'm gonna move them a little bit like so. It doesn't have to be perfect. Let's see, something like this perhaps. Okay. And I'm gonna move this a little bit more apart. Let's see. I'm gonna open up this a little bit more, and maybe something like that. Alright, cool. Maybe a little bit like this. Alright, let's try this out. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select this and Control D to duplicate, and I'm gonna move it down about here. And I would say that this looks already pretty good. I'm only interested in the top view but I can see already that this might work. I might tweak this guy slightly more. So control vertices, maybe I'm gonna bring this guy down just a little bit. Control D and move it here like so. I think it looks pretty good. So I'm gonna save again. So let's see. I'm gonna now with this, I'm gonna duplicate it and I'm gonna create a pattern. So let me delete this guy, and I wanna keep this just in case I wanna modify it later. So I'm just gonna duplicate and work on this guy here. And now I'm gonna delete history and freeze the transformation and center the pivot. So let's see, I'm gonna duplicate one and I'm gonna move it about here to see, maybe if I set 3, okay, and I'm gonna move this guy about here, which is let's see, about let's see, 4.2, 4.25. Okay, I wanna need this. I'm gonna need these values because now I'm gonna select my object and I'm gonna go to Edit, Duplicate Special, and I'm gonna click the option box. So now I'm gonna set this translate. So this is X, Y, and Z. So on X, it was about 4.25, and I want, 5 copies should be enough, and I click apply. Okay, and I'm gonna select these guys, set this to 0, and I believe Z was 3, and there you go. Alright, and here I have, if I rotate it like this, it's gonna be similar to what I got here. So if you imagine, this is gonna be my 3D pattern that I'm gonna use to generate a normal map, and even an occlusion map that I'm not sure if I'm gonna use it, but it's always good to have. So I'm gonna I'm gonna select, I'm gonna save, and so one more thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create a plane where I will project my texture. I'm actually only interested in one tileable square, and I'm gonna identify that once I've got the first texture rendered. I'm gonna show you how to do it. So first of all, I'm gonna go and create a plane. I'm gonna move to the top view, and I'm just gonna click something like this. Alright, doesn't have to be perfect because I'm not gonna use the whole plane, but something like this should be okay. Let's go back to perspective, and maybe I'm gonna move this about, let me see, I wanna move this, let's keep it on the bottom, so kind of like here, so it doesn't touch. I'm gonna bring it here, but it doesn't touch my mesh. And now I'm gonna first of all, let me check the UVs of this object. Yeah, they're not normalized, so let's go to modify and click on normalize. So now I have nice distributed UVs on my plane, and that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna save this scene, and I'm gonna export this pattern and my plane, and I'm gonna project this mesh on top of the plane. I could do it in Maya, but I just prefer to use a tool called xNormal, and I'm gonna show you how to use it in a second. So let's go here and export selection. I'm gonna call this cotton pattern plane, and then I'm gonna select all my objects, file, export selection, and this is gonna be cotton pattern mesh. Alright, and I'm gonna show you now how to bake this mesh over the plane with xNormal. Alright, so here it is. This little tool here, it's xNormal. This is a free tool. You can go to xNormal, I believe it's xnormal.com, I'm not sure, but if you search for xNormal download, you will find the website. It's completely free, and it's despite the kind of like Winamp skin kind of a 90s look, it's a really great tool to bake texture. So in here I have my cotton pattern mesh obj and cotton pattern plane obj. So in the tabs here you can see high definition mesh. This is by default. So I'm gonna click on my cotton pattern mesh, since this is the mesh that we want to project from. And I'm gonna drag it in here. Now I'm gonna click on low definition meshes, and I'm gonna click on my plane and drag it here. And in this case, I think the default values of 0.5 should be fine. If not, we're going to go back and change these values. And now in the baking option, let's see, I want I think for this 1K will be more than enough. So 1024 by 1024, and I want the normal map, and also I want to bake the ambient occlusion. And let me check the options. So 121 rays and 179 degrees spread angle should be okay. Anti-aliasing 4, it's fine. And in here, I'm just gonna, I prepared it, but I'm just gonna choose the file, the format, which is cotton pattern TGA, and the tool is going to automatically add underscore normal and underscore I believe it says something like ambient occlusion or occlusion. So okay, I'm going to click on this big button that says generate map, and so now is generating. This is the normal map. As you can see, is very nice and clean. And now it starts generating the ambient occlusion map. This might take a few minutes, so maybe I'll just speed up the video. So when this is finished, I'll be back. Okay, I'll come back, and it's done. So now I'm gonna close this and close xNormal, and I have my two texture here, normal and occlusion, and I'm gonna bring them in Photoshop. Okay, here they are. So what I want to do, I'm gonna Control A to select on the occlusion. I'm gonna drag here. I'm just gonna say one PSD that has both. So if I go to channel and click on alpha, you can see that I have a clean alpha channel here. If I zoom, it's a pixel perfect alpha channel that xNormal have created. So if I control and click on my alpha, I've got all selected. Now I'm gonna go and check first my normal map layer. I'm gonna click on Control J. So Control J will duplicate my selection, and I'm gonna control and click this one and do the same on this layer. Control J, and I'm gonna get rid of these two guys because I don't need them. So so now what I want to do, I just want to identify a tileable pattern, and then I'm gonna duplicate my texture from there. But actually, what I can do here, let's see, I'm gonna click from maybe this pixel up to the same pixel here, and then I'm gonna right click, transform selection, and I'm gonna do up to here. This should be the same pixel. Okay, and then image, and I'm gonna click on this layer, and then image crop. So now in theory I should have a tileable pattern. Let me check. If I control shift and drag my image and click alt to duplicate it, I should have, let's see, it looks like wasn't exactly, I missed a pixel there. So let me refine my selection. Let's be, so this is 111. Let's go to 110 pixel. 9. It's a bit difficult. 10. Okay. Image crop, and let's see again what I got. So control shift, click and drag, alt duplicate, and now I've got perfectly tileable here. Good. And let's see on the top what we got. And I think I missed a pixel there as well. So let's fix that. So this is a 564. So I'm gonna select up to 563 and crop. Okay, so let's try again, like so. And it looks like I have probably to do one more pixel. So let's do that. So from 563, I'm gonna do 562 and crop. So this should do. There you go. Perfectly matching pixel. So now I have a perfectly tileable image, and I also have a ambient occlusion version of this image. So now what I want to do, I want to fill the empty color. So in case of a normal map, the equivalent of the flat value for a normal map is 120 28 and a 28255. It's this kind of blue purplish color. I click OK, and I'm just gonna fill, actually remove contiguous and remove anti-alias. I'm just gonna fill the gap there, and for this guy I'm just gonna set black like that. And alright, so this is gonna be my fabric that I'm gonna use, and we can test this. So let's see, one thing, I think I'm gonna resize just to get it square. I'm gonna resize this image. Let's see, 512 by 512. So it's gonna look a little bit more squashed, but I prefer to keep things nice and square. Or let's see, yeah, no, that's fine, that should be fine. So I'm gonna save this, and this is gonna be my cotton pattern PSD, and I'm gonna save it like so. And if I need it, I can activate this and save it separately. So let's test this out. So back in Maya, and let's check if our pattern worked. So I'm gonna select my plane and hide everything else. Also, I'm gonna hide the grid. So I'm gonna right click and assign new material, and let's blend, maybe should be fine. And now in bump mapping, I'm gonna click and I'm gonna assign a file, set it to tangent space normal, and I'm gonna assign the texture, which is in Maya, and it's control pattern PSD. Okay, and activate the texture. And I have also to do, since this is a normal map, I'm gonna have to click on raw, ignore color space, and reload to properly visualize it. And now what I can do, I can just go here in my properties of the UVs, and I can start playing with my UVs to get the desired result. So let's move this guy here so I can see what I'm doing. So I'm gonna go to UVs, select this, and first of all let's bring them back like kind of a original shape like so. And now I can just scale them like that, and as you can see, we got a pretty nice fabric looking object. And if I want, I can just if I go back here and save this as cotton pattern AO for ambient occlusion, I can also load this up here in the ambient color. I can just click here and assign my texture. And now I have also the occlusion. Let's see if I drop this texture like so. I'm gonna set this to white and diffuse to 0. And as you can see, actually let's set this to something like this. Alright, and now you can see that we have our fabric looking texture going on, which is pretty neat. We can test it even further. So if I go here and connect times and connect these guys like this. You can just do a bunch of, just to have some fun, sub-selection. Just gonna move this guy around, maybe this guy like this and like so, and I'm gonna press the 3 key to activate the smooth preview, just to see how a cloth-like shape would look with my texture. And as you can see, it's looking pretty neat. It's pretty good. I can also go even further and scale it more. So something like this. And we got a very nice, very detailed cotton-like shape, or fabric-like shape, and this can be used as a base for our character that is gonna be the suit of Mr. Incredible. Also, one thing to notice is that we can change the intensity of the normal map. So if you go back to Photoshop and let's load the normal map here. So let's say that this one is too strong. We don't want such a strong normal map. We can, if we sample this color, which is the neutral color, that if you remember it was 128, 255. If we create a new layer and on top of our existing normal map and fill it with this color, and then let's set it like 50%, this is gonna basically half all this value. So if I save this and going back to Maya, and let's go back to our normal map and click reload, and let me actually to see the difference, let me break the connection here so you can see what's going on. So this is just the normal map. So let me uncheck this. You can see save, and then I'm going to reload. As you can see, these are much stronger. It's a much stronger normal map, but if I activate this 50%, for example, and save it and reload the texture, it's much more subtle. So you can kind of play with it and change the intensity of your normal map by simply changing the opacity of the neutral layer. If I can go even further, 25%, sorry, I meant 85%, and save it. And this will be very subtle. If I reload, as you can see, it's barely visible, which is actually good, depending on what kind of fabric do you want to have. In the case of this suit, it doesn't seem to be like super strong in the way that these fabric details are displayed, so something like this might be enough. And then obviously on top of that we can add our ambient occlusion if we need it. So let's bring it back, and it was this one. Here it is. And so this is how you create a fairly intricate and very, very detailed neat texture and normal map for whatever cloth, fabric or cloth you're gonna need. So in the next video we are gonna apply this to our character, Mr. Incredible, and it will continue doing the rest of it. One last thing, at the beginning of the video, I said that there's also an easier way to get this kind of textures and surfaces, and so I'm gonna share a website that I use a lot. So this website is called Surface Mimic, and what it is, it's a store for 3D scanned surfaces. So it offers a big variety of scanned surfaces that goes from animal, food, furniture, ground, human, etc., etc. And in this case, if we scroll down to textiles, we have a bunch of subdirectories. So let's go to various just for the sake of it. As you can see, they have a good amount of scanned fabric. Let's see, for example, this one. This is pretty good. So you can also download a free sample, but it's watermarked, so it's not a good use. But these textures are very cheap. This one is only $5, and you're gonna get a 32-bit displacement. Then you can generate the normal map from, or you can apply that in your application if it support displacement texture. It's a really good site. It's a shame that unfortunately it's not been updated since 2014. In alternative, there are other things that you can do. There is Substance Designer, there is Quixel, Megascans, and there are a bunch of other libraries of scanned and or procedural texture that you can find, and things like cloth texture. They are found commonly amongst those websites, but I thought it was a good exercise and a good learning to get this kind of texture done manually. So I hope this was interesting and you learned something new, and I'll see you in the next video when I'm going to apply this texture and plus other textures to our character, Mr. Incredible. We can see him here. So his body is ready to be textured, and so I'm gonna do that in the next video. Again, if you like my video, please hit the subscribe button and leave a like and a comment. Thank you so much, and see you next.